Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Andre, and in this video we're going to be talking about automation. Now, what is automation? By definition, automation is automating specific parameters or faders or sliders to change over time. In Ableton, there's a very easy way to automate things, and I feel like often this is something that's overlooked, especially for people who are just getting into production. It's not something you are aware of or pay too much attention to, but proper automation can be a difference between a great track and a mediocre one. Basically, it allows you to add movement and spice and more feeling and make the track more alive and vibrant than if you had no automation at all. I know for me, when first getting started, I didn't know what automation was. I didn't know how to use it, when to use it, and the importance of it. So in this video, I'm just going to be sharing some basic tips with automation in Ableton, how you can do it. It's very simple once you know the ins and outs of it. And then also share a couple tricks how you can automate pretty much any parameter in a VST and also map it to an external controller so you can record your own automations if you prefer to do it that way. So yeah, let's dive right in. So here I have some drums and a arpeggiated wavetable synth by Ableton, just so we can have something to work with, and I'll show you how you can automate different things. So to start with, let's just hear what it sounds like on its own. Cool, so just like a repeating arpeggiated loop. Now, say I want to make it a little bit more interesting and I want to automate the shape of the wave over time, right? So I want this to move up and down. And if I do it manually, this is what it would sound like. Cool. So how can I do that? So if you switch to the arrangement view, hitting tab, this is the arrangement view. And now if you hit A, it switches to the automation view. So basically here you see all the different parameters of each track. And here you can select what you want to automate. Now, for me at first, I remember this was very difficult for some reason. I just couldn't wrap my head around how it worked. And then finally, like one day I was messing around with it and just clicked. So basically, if we take a look at the wavetable, right, this is what we're working with. And say I want to automate this part, right? So notice how here on the second drop down menu, as soon as I clicked on something, it changes. So say I wanted to automate the frequency, see the filter one frequency, it just automatically changes to the last thing that you clicked in the signal chain. So once I realized that, it was like an aha moment for me. I realized, okay, this is super simple. If I want to automate any given parameter, all I have to do is just click on it and then switch to the arrangement view and then hit A, and it'll automatically be selected for me. So then now I can just, hit B to get the pencil and then start drawing my automation. So for example, if I do something like this, and then obviously we have to record the actual sound, so I can just move this over and put it here and just duplicate it. And then, so basically now this will be my automation. Obviously this is not the prettiest automation, but just so you can see what I'm talking about. So now notice when I start playing it, this will move based on my automation here. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh, oops. I didn't realize I clicked the frequency, so we actually were automating the frequency, which is totally fine. We can leave it as is. Now, on top of that, we can automate this one as well. So again, notice here it says filter one frequency. As soon as I click this, it automatically, you don't see the automation anymore because we're not automating we don't have any automation on the wave slider. And now I can just repeat the process and draw some automation here. And now it will apply to this. Also notice how any automated parameter will have a little red dot next to it. So it makes it easy on like a quick glance to know which parameters you have automated and which not. So here, let's see what this sounds like. Cool. The filter frequency is a little extreme. It like kind of cuts off the sound entirely. But you get the idea, right? If you want to delete the automation, you just select this and hit delete, and it will just delete the automation. Actually, here, I think you can also right click on the parameter that you automated and hit delete automation. So that also is an easy way to delete it. A neat trick is while in automation mode, if you right click, you can insert predefined shapes. So that makes it easy if you want to like have a specific automated parameter. So for example, we can do like with the sine wave, and it automatically applies it to the selected area, right? So I have this whole thing selected. So if I want to just apply the same thing, but just to this, I can do the exact same thing, right click, insert shape, and it just applies it to the selected area. Cool. So now, that's pretty simple and self-explanatory. Once you know that and understand that simply clicking on any parameter will automatically switch to that parameter in the automation view. And then all you have to do is just draw your own automation or insert one of the predefined shapes, which again is just right click and insert the shape. So now I want to show you how you can apply the same principle to a virtual instrument. I'm not sure what exactly dictates which parameters you can or can't automate like right off the bat. I know some VSTs that are inside of the contact player, for some reason you can't automate them using this method. I'm not exactly sure why, but just something to keep in mind. But basically, for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna be using one of my favorite bass engines, which is called Bass Synth by Wave Alchemy. And basically, you can do the exact same thing, right? You can click on whatever parameter you want to automate. So, for example, the suspense one. Also, just check out how gnarly it sounds. Ugh, just so good. Can listen to that all day. So the suspense one just changes the kind of like the initial hit compared to this. You get that more like the oomph in the beginning with the suspense all the way up. So say we want to automate that, right? So once I clicked and moved it, if I go back to the arrangement view, you can see that this is the one that's automatically selected. So I can again start drawing my automation here. That is all nice and well, but say I wanted to automate something that was not assigned to the macros here. Say the resonance of the second filter of the oscillator here. Like if I just move it around, see, it doesn't change the suspense. And the reason behind it, I feel like, is because this is considered an internal parameter of the VST itself. So it's essentially not exposed to the DAW to automate or to hook into, right? So what you need to do is you need to assign this first to one of the macros. I feel like most VSTs have some sort of capability of having like a built-in macro and then those macros will be exposed to be mappable or automatable within the DAW. So for example, I have 3 here that are empty, 3 macros. So you can just drag this plus sign to the resonance, and then now this one becomes kind of like looks like it's also assigned to this. So actually, let's remove this one and assign this one to the resonance. So now when I move this, it just moves the resonance. And now, I don't know how to rename it actually, which is kind of weird. But anyway, so now you saw as soon as I clicked here, this changed. So now I can automate the resonance with the exact same method. Sounds so cool. So let's see what it would sound like. Let's just see what this sounds like. Nice. Cool. So you get the idea. So yeah, as you can see, there isn't really much to it. Click the parameter and then draw your automation, and that's it. So adding little subtle elements like that to the volume, the frequency, the filter cutoff, maybe like the intensity of the reverb at the end of a snare hit can add a lot of I call it spice, right? There's a lot of spice to a track, which it's like the little things that you don't really notice on their own, but combined together, they add like just another layer of production quality to your tracks. And I feel like it's super important. Also, it makes the track not boring because there's constant movement and something is happening. So yeah, just experiment with automation, try different things, and see what works, see what doesn't. And obviously let me know in the comments what you thought. Also, if you like this kind of content, please like the video, hit the subscribe button so you can keep getting more of my content, and follow me on Instagram. Would love to connect and have more producer friends, especially if you're a beginner and just getting into it. More than happy to help answer any questions. And one last thing that I want to show you is how to map internal parameters of a given VST to a MIDI controller, like in the external MIDI controller. So you can map, some knobs to actual physical knobs and record the automation on the fly while you're moving those. That's also a great way to add automation and have like that tactile touch that you are moving the knobs and not just drawing them with a pencil and whatnot. So the way to do that is, once you have your VST loaded, you have this little triangle button here. So if you press it, you have this configure button. So all you have to do is click the configure button and then click any of the parameters that you want to add there. So for example, let's add the intense one. And once you click it, it just shows up right there. And then suspense, and I don't know, I think that was the frequency one, right, that we added. And then you can click configure again to exit out of that mode. So now you can either leave it like this and map these ones to your hardware MIDI controller. So you can just right click, edit MIDI map, or do Command M, and then click the one you want to automate, or click the one you want to map, and then move one of the knobs on your hardware controller. Cool. So I mapped these three to the three knobs on my Akai MPK Mini. So now I can play a chord and then move those while I'm recording, and it will record the automation. And here's a quick demo of what it looks like / sounds like. forgot I'm not recording. So here you can see all of my automation got recorded right here. And it's more smooth because it's an actual knob movement and not just me drawing with a pencil. So yeah, that's one way of doing that as well. And then another way is if you select the VST, hit Command G, it will put it in the group. And then you have access to macros here. So you can essentially assign this or map it to macro 1. And then you can essentially do the exact same thing with those. It's just a simpler, more easier way to see the position of the knobs and also their values rather than looking at this, because it's kind of small and hard to tell. But yeah, there's no difference. Kind of like your own personal preference, how you wanna deal with that. And yeah, this is the end of the video for now. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you learned something new and automation is no longer a mystery for you and you feel more comfortable playing around with it and automating a bunch of parameters. So yeah, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.